This because I want you to see what's happening with this bridge. The A string has dropped down out of the curve of the radius. So what's happening is the A string is too low. Now, as I mentioned in previous videos, you don't have the luxury like a Tele or a Strat where you can move each individual saddle up and down. So all we have left to correct this is the actual little tiny bit of real estate in each saddle of the Les Paul bridge. I don't normally make up that self-adjusting radius gauge for Les Paul's SGs, 335s, etc. You don't have that luxury to move each string individually up and down. There is a workaround on this, and this is what I'm about to show you. So I have made up a self-adjusting radius gauge. I'm going to stick it underneath those strings and watch what happens. Okay, so here's what we got. This string here, the second string, see that? There's a little bit of play there, and the sixth string has a little bit of play. So what we've got to do is very gently lower those two strings. The rest of the strings are touching all the way across, and this is how we're going to even up that arc of the radius at the bridge to get a perfect match for the fingerboard radius. And then of course we have the luxury to adjust here at the bridge, and that's how we're going to correct this problem. I did end up taking that B string down, and just so you understand, when I push on that string, there's our first string, if I push down on it, you see the actual radius gauge move. That foam underneath the radius gauge is gently pushing that perfect radiused piece up against the underside of the string. So if the radius gauge moves, then we've made contact all the way across the B string, the G, the D, the A, now the E. Watch, if I move the E, well, you know something? The E is still a little bit proud of the radius, and I do talk about this in my level 2 classes. This is the one exception to the rule. Because the low E string is the first in the line of fire, if you're strumming, that's the one exception to that radius rule. You can actually leave that low E string just a little bit proud, but it's not contact. You can hear it ringing. It's not touching, right? Whereas these are. It's okay to leave that low E string just a little bit proud. Now this is a real exception because I really do not like to mess with the radius of the Les Paul bridges because they're pre-engineered to match the fingerboard radius. Now we have a perfect radius match on 1 to 5. We've got that low E string, we've left that just a hint proud. I can live with that. Now it's a done deal. Now she goes back to Tom. Well, I got a bit of a chuckle when Michael Davis, one of my subscribers, a former student, TechDeck owner, had asked me to demonstrate the use of some of the many uses he saw in class of the tongue depressors. He used them for clamping pads and sanding sticks, and you've seen them in other videos. You see them pop up. Here's another use. Go to get those pots off. I've got two tongue depressors on either side. I just shove that third one in between and then push it through. I don't know if I use this in class or not, Mike, to show you, but here you go, one more tongue depressor trick. Okay, so we're up to a stack of 4 at this point. Now I'm pushing in the 5th one on either side. This tone pot had loosened up a little bit, so you turn the pot all the way down to 0, and that offers the resistance you need as you tighten that loose nut. You're not twisting wires on the inside, and that's all it took. This is another one of those instances where I like to get at both sides of the guitar at the same time. I'm spraying this pot. We've got a scratchy pot here, so I like to be able to kind of reach underneath and juice that down and turn it at the same time. Yep, that took care of that. You know, while I'm in here, I'm going to just go ahead and lubricate the rest of them as well. Yeah, so that's another instance where I want to be able to get at the cavity in the back while I'm juicing them down with the lubricant. I can reach underneath and turn at the same time. And that's basically how I orient the guitar and the TechDeck when I do that type of work.